I never believed the rumors about East Ridge High. Yeah, sure, the school was old, built in the 1920s. It creaked when the wind blew, and the power flickered out more than it should. But haunted? That always felt like a joke, a story upperclassmen told to freak out freshmen. Until the day I heard the bell ring after school when it wasn't supposed to. It was late October. I had detention for being late again. Mr. Halverson made me scrub graffiti off the third-floor lockers. The whole wing was empty, silent, and colder than the rest of the building. Everyone avoided it. They said someone died up there years ago. A girl. But I didn't believe that either. Not then. I finished up just before 4:30. The final bell had rung out hours ago. I was halfway down the stairwell when I heard it again. Slow and drawn out, echoing through the halls like it was underwater. The janitor, Mr. Avery, always shut the bell system off after 3. It shouldn't have worked at all. I peeked back into the hallway. The light at the end of the corridor flickered, and that's when I saw her. A girl, soaking wet, standing near the lockers I'd just cleaned. Her head was tilted sideways, like her neck was broken. Long strands of black hair clinged to her face like seaweed. I blinked, and she was gone. I ran down the stairs, past the offices, towards the front doors, but they were chained shut. Not locked, chained. Thick, rusted iron that hadn't been there when I arrived. My phone buzzed. It was an unknown number. It said, "Don't leave yet. You didn't hear the last bell." The hallway behind me groaned. I turned slowly, and there she was again. Closer this time. I could see her face now, or what was left of it. Her skin was bloated and gray, her eyes milky white. Her mouth hung open, full of water dripping onto the floor in thick, black puddles. I ran blindly, heart crashing in my chest. I took a turn into the cafeteria and ducked behind a table. Silence. Then the bell again, louder and slower. From the darkness, a whisper. "You're still here. You're one of us now." I don't remember what happened next. I woke up in the nurse's office the next morning. No one believed me. They said I fainted. Mr. Halverson claimed he never gave me detention that day. No record of it. I tried to leave the school for good after that. Told my parents I was done. But every time I transfer, every time I leave town, that damn bell follows me. I'll hear it late at night. Sometimes I wake up with water in my lungs. Sometimes I see her reflection in my mirror. And sometimes I think I'm still in that hallway, still running, still waiting for that last bell to ring. They told us not to go into room 209. At Crestview Middle School, the west wing had been sealed off since before I started the 6th grade. The hallway was dusty, the lockers rusted and shut, and the classrooms were boarded up. Every kid knew the story. Someone had died in room 209, a teacher or a student, depending on who you asked. The details changed, but the warning was always the same. Don't go into room 209. Naturally, we wanted to. It was me, Bryce, and Jalen. We were obsessed with filming dumb stuff on Bryce's phone. Ghost hunting, urban legends, Bloody Mary in the mirror. Most of it was just for TikTok. But when we dared each other to sneak into the West Wing one Friday after school, it felt different. Real. We slipped in through the janitor's closet. Bryce had stolen the keys earlier that week. The air changed the moment we stepped inside, heavy and stale. The hallway wasn't silent, except for the occasional creak of the pipes overhead. Every classroom door was nailed shut, except one. Room 209. The door was cracked open, just enough to see darkness inside. Bryce turned on his phone light and started filming. "Room 209, he whispered dramatically. "The forbidden classroom." We laughed. Jalen pushed the door. It opened by itself. Inside was a classroom, mostly normal. Dust covered the desks, a chalkboard, a few posters curling on the walls. But it was cold, colder than anywhere else in the school. My breath fogged in the air, and the windows were blacked out with thick paper nailed from the inside. Bryce scanned the room with his light. That's when we saw it. A desk in the back with a chair pulled out, like someone had just been sitting there. Then Jalen pointed to the chalkboard. It said, "Sit down." We thought it was a joke. Bryce dared me to do it, so I did. The moment I sat in the chair, the door slammed shut. The lights went out. Bryce screamed and dropped his phone, his light the only thing spinning on the floor. In that second, I felt something behind me, raspy breathing right next to my ear. Then, a whisper. "Why did you come back?" I shot up. The desks were gone. The chalkboard now said, "You never left." Bryce fumbled for his phone, grabbed it, and we ran. But the hallway had changed. It was much longer now and twisting. Every door was room 209. We turned back the same way, every direction. Room 209. Jalen screamed. Something grabbed his leg and dragged him backwards into one of the rooms. We never saw him again. We found the janitor eventually, Mr. Griggs. He looked surprised. "You kids again?" he muttered. "Didn't I find you last year in there?" It didn't make sense. It had only been 20 minutes, but my mom swore I'd been missing for 4 days. Bryce never posted the footage. He doesn't even talk anymore. He just draws room 209 over and over in his notebooks. And I never went back to Crestview, but sometimes, when I'm alone, I still hear that chair scrape across the floor, and the whisper, "Sit down." Everyone at Hollow Creek High knows not to go past the fence behind the gym. It's not just a rumor. There's literally a cemetery back there, old and forgotten, swallowed by weeds and fog. Most of the graves are worn down. You can't even read the names, and no one knows why the school was built right next to it. Some say it was already there, and they built the gym over a part of the graveyard. Yeah, they built over it. People joke about it like it's some knockoff of the Poltergeist. But if you talk to the right people, the older teachers, the janitor, even the lunch lady, they all get real quiet when you bring it up. They change the subject every single time. But I didn't believe in any of that crap until the week they found the first open grave. It started on a Monday. I was doing laps behind the gym for PE, trying to avoid Coach Ramsey's yelling. That's when I noticed something past the fence, a fresh hole in the graveyard dirt. I pointed it out to a couple kids. Coach said it was probably the groundskeeper or maybe animals. But that night I couldn't stop thinking about it. Something about that pit didn't sit right. It was too clean, too perfect. The next day, there were 2 open graves. Wednesday, there were 5. No one said anything, like they couldn't see them. I even showed Chandler a picture on my phone. He just blinked at me like the screen was black. By Thursday, I wasn't sleeping. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw shadows crawling out of the graves, faces without eyes, jaws unhinged. Friday morning, I skipped class and snuck back there alone. It was foggy, dead silent. The wind didn't even move the trees. I counted the graves. 7, all open, all fresh. Then I saw the headstones, new ones, polished like they were just carved. When I stepped closer, my stomach dropped. The names on them were all students from our school, and one of them was mine. Ethan Reeds, born 2008, died 2025. I backed up fast. I tripped and fell right at the edge of the grave. That's when I heard it, something moving under the dirt, something crawling, slow and heavy. I got up and ran. I didn't even look back. I tried to tell the principal. I showed him the photo of my headstone. He laughed and said, "Nice Photoshop." Then he looked again. He went pale. He called my parents and told them I needed a mental health break. Said I've been seeing things, that I need rest. But I know what I saw, and I'm not the only one, because now more kids have started disappearing. 2 from the track team, 1 from the theater club. Gone, no explanations, just gone. And the worst part, the graves are still multiplying. And sometimes when I walk past the gym windows during last period, I swear I could see something standing in the graveyard, looking at the school, waiting for me. It started like any normal Tuesday. 3rd period had just ended. I was walking down the hallway to biology when the loudspeaker crackled. "Attention students and staff, this is a lockdown. This is not a drill." The second those words hit, everything stopped. Conversations died mid-sentence. Teachers slammed doors shut. Kids ran. Lights were turned off. Shades pulled down. I was still in the hallway. The nearest classroom was room 107, Miss Keller's. I sprinted, shoved the door open, and she let me in, locking it immediately behind me. She whispered, "Sit. Don't move. Don't speak." The room was dark. 30 silent kids crouched under desks trying not to breathe. And then we heard footsteps, not down the hallway, inside the school, slow and measured. Miss Keller put her finger to her lips. We all obeyed, not even a whimper, but something was wrong. The footsteps weren't normal. They didn't echo like shoes on tile. They sounded wet, like someone walking barefoot through the mud. Every step made this sick, sloshing noise. Then they stopped, right outside the door. I was near the back of the room, crouched beside the supply closet. From where I sat, I could just barely see through the vertical window on the door, but I could see it. Something was standing there. It wasn't a shooter. It wasn't a person. Its body was too tall, too thin, its arms dangling past its knees. Its skin looked like it was stretched too tightly over bone. The face, oh God, it didn't have one, just skin, pulled flat like someone stitched it shut. And then it tapped. Not knocking, just 3 soft, polite taps. No one moved. And then it spoke, not from the hallway, from inside the classroom, right behind me. A voice, too calm, too quiet, too human. "I see you." I turned around, heart slamming into my throat, but there was nothing there, just shadows, just dust. A scream cut through the silence. Someone had bolted for the door. We all shouted no, but it was too late. She opened it, and she was gone. No scream, no struggle, just gone. The door swung slowly shut on its own. The lockdown lasted 3 more hours. The creature never came back. Eventually, the all clear sounded, but no one could explain anything. The cameras in the hallway glitched. No one believed what we saw. They claimed the girl who disappeared must have left campus. Her name was erased from attendance records. Her locker was empty the next morning. But I remember her face, her panic, her hand reaching back at the last second, right before the door closed. I haven't slept since, because last night I got a call from an unknown number. I answered. Silence. Then that same calm voice whispered, "You left the door unlocked." And now I think the lockdown wasn't to keep something out. It was to keep it in. It started with a bathroom pass. I asked to use it during 6th period, just to get out of class. I was tired of listening to Mr. Deegan drone on about the American Revolution and figured a quick break wouldn't hurt. I grabbed the laminated pass and stepped into the hallway, empty and quiet. except for the hum of the lights. I headed towards the B-wing bathrooms, the ones past the science labs, near the old part of the school nobody ever uses. And I guess that's where I made my mistake, because when I turned down that hallway, I never came out. At first, nothing seemed weird. The floor tiles were the same. The buzzing fluorescent lights flickered like always. I passed the same posters I'd seen a million times. Spirit Week announcements, blood drive flyers, some wrinkled missing cat photo. But when I reached the restroom door, it was locked. No sign, no explanation. So I turned around, and that's when it got strange. The hallway behind me, it was longer than it should have been. I know this school. I've walked this hallway 100 times. It's barely 30 feet, but now it's stretched far into the distance, like it had grown while I wasn't looking. I saw more posters, copies of the same ones I passed before, but older, yellowed, torn, like they'd been hanging there for years. I walked slowly. The hallway didn't end. I tried opening a classroom door. Locked, so I tried another. Locked. I turned around again. Still more hallway behind me. Now the lights were dimmer, the buzzing louder. One was flickering rapidly like it was ready to die. And the air, it felt thicker, like I was underwater. That's when I started running. I sprinted down the corridor, heart pounding, but the hallway never changed. Same posters, same lockers, same cracked ceiling tiles. Like I was stuck in a loop. Then I heard something. Footsteps. Not mine. Slow, dragging, coming from behind. I turned to look, but the hallway was empty. I kept running until I saw something new. A door at the end of the hall I swear hadn't been there before. Room B, 313. But when I got closer, I saw it wasn't a room. It was a mirror. A huge, filthy mirror bolted to the wall. And in it I saw myself, except not me. My reflection was staring at me with wide, sunken eyes, mouth slightly open like it wanted to speak. But when I moved, it didn't follow. It just stood there, watching. Then it smiled, and behind it, in the reflection only, I saw someone standing in the hallway with me. Tall, slouched, fingers dragging across the lockers. Its face was hidden behind something, cloth or skin, I couldn't tell. I turned around, no one there, but when I looked back at the mirror, it was closer, and the hallway behind me in the reflection had gone black. The lights broke out one by one behind me. I ran again, faster this time, screaming, begging to wake up, until finally I crashed through a door and landed flat on my face in the middle of the main hallway. 6th period had just ended. Kids were walking around like nothing happened. I turned back. The hallway I came from was gone, just a wall. I told the office what happened. They said there's no room B313, that it didn't exist. That part of the school had been closed for decades. No record of that hallway, no map, no staff room near there. And ever since that day, sometimes when I'm walking alone, I swear I see the hallway again, a door where there shouldn't be one. Sometimes my reflection still moves a second too late. Sometimes I hear the footsteps again, dragging, getting closer. And I know if I ever go back through that door, I won't be the one who comes back.